match counter of this tournament. I think we're right around the halfway stage. I'll get you an exact count in a moment. And Nepal, with that 7-game advantage in terms of the games that they can catch up over Canada and Namibia in particular, is Europe all looking at the table and going, hold on, only 12 points behind Canada. We've got 7 games in hand over them. All of the kind of rumours of the demise may have proved a bit in the air, but it's going to race away for a couple. Ariane Dutt's on the field now. What's that great quote? Rumours of my demise were overstated.
Greatly
exaggerated.
Yes.
Oscar Wilde. Little Irishman.
Yeah, I was about to say, you should know your fellow Irishmen.
What are the rumours of Nepal's ODI demise greatly exaggerated? Or potential demise?
I've been saying this for a while. I just have said from the start, just look at the number of matches played, because that's so significant. The only thing that can happen, though, perhaps, is for teams, because they are so far behind and they haven't played as many matches, there might be that pressure on them to, right, we've got to win these matches now because we're so far back, even though we have matches in hand. But certainly, I think Stuart Law will be telling them, look at this column here, not this column here, because we're going to make our way up the table.
Got the quote horribly wrong. It's not Oscar Wilde.
Oh, isn't it?
I've got it over.
1.6
And actually,
What is that?
these rumours of my demise have been
Nepal
greatly
is right.
exaggerated. Whilst it is often attributed to Mark Twain, apparently the quote's not even right. The quote is actually taken. Levitt's got 2. That's a giveaway. It's the second softest missile in 2 innings from well, keeping the pressure on the new batter. Shake coming in.
50,000 into 0.6.
Arrow shake, of course, 2 shakes in the side. This is, in many ways, a
It
litmus
is that's absolutely also.
16, 68, second winning for Alan that pulled off a miraculous.
This is into 1.8.
Yeah, customary style of manner. And they now, because a little tough run rate required now, higher than
नेपालीको नेपालीले चाहिँ इन्भर्ट इन्डियामा कन्भर्ट
their
गर्नु
history
पर्छ
of fragility when chasing.
कति आयो अरे?
Do it against a touch side that is going to
कति
throw
आयो
everything
अरे?
at them. In many ways, this win today will almost be more important, more impressive than the one 2 days ago. Because it will show that 48 hours ago was no fluke and it wasn't just a one-off performance. from a Karen Casey inspired side. So for Powell and Jake, they have time to start a partnership, and they've plenty of money to come. You just get the sense of that even Nepal are going to get there, they're going to be doing it.
I'm forwarding that every time, Lenny.
Great message from a long-standing friend of mine.
This is a
Because this is why I love Nepal more than any sporting team in the world. This is after the game 2 days.
Bata cards are on
I won't tell you where he's from. He's a big cricketer. It's sheer madness every time they play. Whether winning or losing, whether playing brilliantly or terribly, you can't take your eyes off them. You just never really know what's going to happen.
The fleet
Get
is
our
taking sides.
this one the bank era the home camp on the bank era the era basement of the शिकार करते हम लोग को
Tell you the one man who head coach prior to the last two, he's actually 3 head coaches ago. That one, 4 head coaches ago. My God, where's the time? That long aside. The second incarnation of Pupu, that's Naga's Nepal head coach. And then the very short-lived tenure of Manoj Prabhakar. That one more picked this young man at the crease. And he'd already been picked as a 15-year-old in October 2018. Started picking him regularly in the 11 as a 17-year-old. Or an 18-year-old. This is the one that I have at my disposal. He never gives it away. It's ironic because he went to a social
बाहिर निकाल्नु त
he's going to get difficult conditions in tailor
this is into 1.6
in terms of his approach to his cricket. He's got that kind of Joe Root and Kane Williamson ability to not really notice.
so 1.6
Whatever the scenario, his game's evolved huge as well. T20 games. His win is the one with the Dutch World Prize, maybe the most of them all.
Yeah, he certainly adds an aura of calm to proceedings, and I think that's almost what you're referring to with a Root and a Williamson. There is just this feeling of calmness when he comes into bat. He made 37
this is actually super strong
days ago before really
this is
giving away his
another
cricket, chipping into the field. Now look to it now.
4.6
A couple of balls ago,
this is
actually got all the way down. I actually think it might have been the wind. I almost think he was blown off his run up by the wind.
Well, it would have definitely been a bit concerning for those watching back in the Netherlands because it was a pretty nasty pull-up when he was approaching the crease in the same way in the penultimate game for the Netherlands at Utrecht out of this tour. It was only just past fit, I gather, in terms of from a timing perspective, as Powell sends back
Are you shaking because of the diving stop from Shari's Ahmed? Nepal were outstanding in the field, and being honest right now, the Dutch are matching them. There's another maiden, this one from Vivian Kingma. 17 have been bowled, 68 for 3. Michael Levitt's going to continue. He's found those 2 wickets. Just had a question come in on, actually from a close pal of mine, Old David, and we'll remain on there.
You do this a lot. I'm gonna hack into your phone at some point.
There's a reason why. He says, Andrew, just to let you know, we're hearing heavy audio of moving steel table or chair. Explain to you what's going on, but we've had right, there's nothing we can do at all. Yeah, that's going to be something you'll hear a little bit in the background. We'll try our best to manage it, and we're trying our best to stay on air right now, to be honest with you. It's been a really challenging day. Despite the really bright sunshine we're now being treated to, it's pretty chilly, pretty difficult right here.
I think pretty chilly is an understatement. I like to think if you can hear the creaking and the metal poles banging against each other, that you're here with us in spirit and sharing our fears of a monarchy tumbling down around our ears.
Left hand James Schumacher who messaged saying he's actually here to face camp of members. That's why we take some association season. So we can accuse of members together.
It just looks so deceptive, I think, on TV. It's deceptive to us when you look out. Looking out the window this morning, I'm thinking, no, it actually looks better this morning. It's quite bright. Maybe in the sunshine it would be nice and warm.
A message from Mitch Rush. Twitter, he says, hashtag CWCL2. Given that Nepal will qualify for the T20 World Cup in India and Sri Lanka, and the quality of spinners Nepal has for the conditions, we're going to eye the Super 8s for sure. Our fans will travel visa free. Already 3 to 4 million Nepalese are working there. Oh boy, just hold on to your hats. I love that. And look at what the USA did in the last T20 World Cup, getting to the Super 8. You know, it's not a pipe dream, it's always going to be a big story, but it's just not out of the realms of possibility at all, particularly in that format. So I will hold on to my hat. It's currently keeping my ears warm, and it's not even my hat, but it'll be special. The 18th over. Lots of thoughts right now. Nepal are soaking up. The Dutch are coming back. Maybe even arguing into the ascendancy in this game. Hold on to your hats. Monitor the right hats. 18 about 70 for 3. Just a couple more questions. I'm going to get to those quickly. Sagar asking me, hi Lenny, sorry for the late question. How much involvement is there between the coach and the captain during on-field decisions during the game? It's a really good question, not naive at all. It has been changed in the playing conditions. I think it was 4 or 5 years ago, meaning that the coach can come out and drink the breaks now. And we often see someone to the side on the substitutes maybe to walk around the grounds getting messages on by the fielders. But in all reality, the man who's in control out there on the playing field is the captain. And was there such a strategic element? The overthrows been allowed a single here from Shari's Ahmed. There's such a strategic element to cricket. Cricket is almost a bit more like a manager, isn't he? In football or rugby or another sport. You look at how important the captain is, and it's got out, it's not being able to be out there. I know Max is doing a good job here deputising, but you've seen players often don't almost pictures for their captaincy, such as the importance of it.
It's an unusual sport in a way. Cricket, I don't think there are too many sports where captaincy has a huge amount of influence that it does in cricket.
Raku is clearly a football fan, but I'm not. He says that the correct quote is not Preston, and you do it on a cold, windy night in Preston. It's Stoke.
Ah, Stoke, of course it is.
That blue dye, you should know better. Okay, apologies. I don't think very much, but I could be. So I wonder who said that. Can you do it on a cold night in Stoke? Oh, it is Stoke. Okay, there we go.
Who is it? Who said it?
She could have got very hard. It's whipped into the leg side. Should be at least a good may even race towards the road. The Palace fans cheer it on. They're back up on their feet for the first time in a while. There's Arif Sheikh, the Iceman, fitting in these conditions, gets it away for his first boundary.
A nicely played, giving those fans something to warm up to. Excellent scene. They've got to build a partnership. That was just nicely timed little into the leg side. The drive was well away.
I thought that term had been around for decades. It only originated in 2010. And it was with regards to a discussion about the then Ballon d'Or nominees. Who were the leading footballers in the world? Like pretty much Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi. It was Andy Gray, the president, who was on Sky Sports at the time, who first said, well, that's all well and good, but can they do it on a cold, rainy night in Stoke? And Stoke at the time were one of the best defensive sides in the Premier League. In racking up nil-nils. Today, whatever it is, June 4th, 2025. Because it's so sunny now, I look like very sunny yesterday. I might be entering the best part of the day. The best part of the day's weather, to be honest, but can you do it on a blustering day on Monday?
Yeah, that's it. Really, it might be the best lots of sunshine. There's clouds and largely moved away. It's almost blue skies now, but still that wind is a huge factor.
Crazy, really, because a year ago, I said we might not see the sun again, whereas there was really dark clouds across from where the fog was, because the wind is so strong. We shut that. I was just giving us thank you for that. Bright blue sky, sunshine. Yeah, it might look glorious, but it's more than a touch nippy. Indian King was 6th over, goes 6, 19 in ball, 76 for 3. Just give you the points table now once more. The questions are really how does this work? Did they qualify for the World Cup in the League? No, not quite. That's part of the pathway. Through the 15 World Cup, don't automatically qualify. The ICC Men's Cricket World Cup qualifier in Q1 2027. 1 and 4 will still have a chance to get to that event. But 7th and 8th are the bogey spots, potential jeopardy spots. The sword of Damocles will hang over you because if you finish 7th or 8th and then you finish beneath in that Cricket World Cup qualifier playoff in Q1 of 2027, you finish in that place and you finish within that tournament. One of the 4 Challenge League teams is coming and lose your IPO status.
It's a big one, isn't it? And that's huge implications for any countries who can be in that position. What's been really impressive about Neville is not just that he's taken wickets, it's how tight he's kept things from the nursery road end. In his fifth over, this year for 14,
We described him well in the Netherlands having the bowling mindset of Eric the Ambrose because he was running down the batters and having a few words and giving them a stare. Maybe you can get to know my ball on the pitch. He's been a wild, genuine, young man you will never leave recently. He's honestly ever made in your life, but he just loves bowling. He loves being in the contest.
a real white line fever player.
There's anything inappropriate, you can't bowler. He's absolutely loves it. Speaking of the challenge leagues beneath the smell, we'll see the second edition. All 6 of those sides play one round robin here in the 3-year side. We'll see the second edition of League A in Jersey in August.
We'll be there.
Jersey and Papua New Guinea are on the table at the moment. They're the ones in the 7th seed, but over like Kuwait, Kenya, and Denmark. In League B, Uganda and Italy have a real stranglehold and a 6 and 4 point advantage respectively over Hong Kong and Tanzania and Singapore after just 2 editions eliminated Singapore. In a really difficult phase, kind of falling off the cliff edge since Tim David has departed to play for Australia. And Tanzania had a really disappointing campaign too. Hong Kong and Bahrain still technically could qualify, but I'd imagine Uganda and Italy will have enough to take the 2 spots in League B, and maybe PNG and Jersey the favourites in League A. So it'll be those 4 teams. UAE, being honest, the way they're playing, they look almost nailed on for either 7th or 8th, don't they? The English League too.
Yeah, which really surprises me. Just having watched a bit of the UAE, they've just had a win over a full member nation as well, albeit in a different format. But so there's clearly the talent there. But that is the cutthroat nature of these pathway programs. If you, in I guess the world of full membership, you can go through a run of 4 results. England have done that. West Indies have done that. They've been playing each other. They've both had times that have had 4 runs of forms recently.
Again, that it just involved, isn't he? Up and about, you think he's bowling at 90 miles an hour with the way in which he's reacting to every delivery.
Another good over. Again, look how tight he's keeping it. 2 singles coming from it. After 5 is 2 for 14. After 20, Nepal, 78 for 3. Yeah, so just to finish that point is that teams can afford to go through a bit of a run of poor form in that top strata of full member nations. But for teams in this associate pathway system, if you do have a string of performances, it just has such a massive effect.
The reality is, you talk about, I suppose, I don't know what you talk about football today, not my sport.
Yeah, what about that, mate?
But you talk about, they try to offer a bit of protection, don't they, to teams who get relegated, these parachute payments, that sort of stuff. You think about kind of probably the most notorious demise of the associate teams that of Kenya. The most blatant example. There's others. Bermuda have had highs and more in recent times, more lows. There seem to be on the way back. Argentina were as high as World Cricket League Division 3. They've slipped far in the rankings as well. You don't want to lose countries or, cricket in Kenya. There's lots of it. I'd love to see them back up the rankings. They went all the way to a 50-over World Cup semi-final in 2003. It should be a wide. I think that's 2 short chests. The umpires work in tandem to establish that then McLean gains some help in the square leg umpire. So I love the fact that associate cricket is merit-based and there's a huge meritocracy to it. It is cutthroat. It's contracted. They retain some part-time contracts since losing Cricket World Cup League 2 status, but it can be difficult to battle back from that. Assad Lala was nearly the number one scorer in this league last time around. They've got quality players themselves, and they had a lot of hardships to deal with throughout that first cycle.
Only played one series at home because of the effects of the COVID pandemic were worse there than almost any part of the world. And I don't think there's a solution. We want it to be merit-based. We want, the teams who are doing well to be rewarded, but we don't want to lose teams either.
Yeah, definitely not. So I almost think that can be harder to come back from than sort of starting from scratch.
Patient.
So that'll be the first of 4 qualifiers, which will keep one the first of the 4 will be, that'll be the fourth and final of the 4. The first of the 4 will be taking place in King City in Canada in about 2 weeks' time. Bahamas, Bermuda, Canada, and the Cayman Islands will play for one spot. USA are there automatically. So that's going to be 5 wides down the leg side. Levitt does continue. It's 5 freebies. Ryan Cook, the head coach of the Netherlands, shows us he's still got a decent throwing arm. And he won't be too pleased with those 5 free runs given to the opposition.
And just they've been praising the economy of Levitt. That's just spoiled his figures a little bit. So maybe is that a sign that he has maybe bowled his quotient?
Just the wind again, isn't it? The shape.
It is. I mean, it is tough. You'd expect to have more wides in conditions like this. Sometimes it's the wind taking and sometimes it's the overcompensation.
That'll be the first of 4 qualifiers, which will give 1 spot. USA are already there thanks to their Super 8 efforts. They're the only associate that have automatically qualified for the tournament in Sri Lanka in February next year. For the second qualifier, that'll be in Europe, hosted in the Netherlands. I think that's at the Norberg Cricket Club grounds near Den Haag. The 5 teams will play for 1 spot. Red Guernsey, Italy and Jersey will try to upset the incumbents of Netherlands and Scotland, who will be the favourites for the 2 spots. Then we head down to Africa for the 8-team tournament at the end of September. We'll see Botswana, Kenya, Malawi, and Nigeria, and Tanzania and Zimbabwe take on the 2 qualifying sides from the last time, Namibia and Uganda. So keep your eyes, I think the 3 favourites there will obviously be Zimbabwe, Namibia and Uganda, but do keep your eyes on Nigeria. They continue to improve, and they may spark a resurgence from Malawi and Botswana. Great experience for them, but there'll be 3 spots. I haven't announced the format yet as this one beats the outside edge, but I believe it's 3 groups of 3. That's unusual. It's not a 9-team round robin, 3 groups of 3, possibly followed by a little bit like what we just saw in the women's qualifier in Thailand for Super Region, followed by some kind of a Super 6 or a Super 3 or something. Not quite sure. As soon as it gets announced, you'll be able to watch it live on ICC TV, and that is for sure. That will be in October. This is pulling them straight to the man. anyone that you kind of see in that pathway is maybe qualifying for a World Cup for the first time or getting in that wasn't in last time. Probably the UAE would be the most likely, and Zimbabwe to get there, who didn't get there 2 years ago. But anyone else to keep your eyes on, possibly Italy.
Yeah, Italy is definitely one to watch out for. Just in that European qualifier, I know that there won't be anybody taking them lightly. I don't think either, as we get to the end of that over 24 gone, 94 for 3. Certainly do not think that Netherlands and Scotland will be taking Italy lightly at all. They have Joe Burns in their side. They've done a bit of recruiting for Australian Italians. Also,
I'm going to ask a question that a novice or fan might ask him, why can Joe Burns play for Italy? He's Australian and he's already played for Australia.
well, if you go down, well not down, if you go from playing for a full member nation to an associate member, you don't, there's no clashing qualification. If you go the other way, then you can't come back and play again for another 3 years, isn't it? Something that I've got that totally wrong. The other way around, isn't it? Yes. I've literally got it the other way around, but I've realised as I've said it.
I thought I just tossed you the greatest softball question. Well, I tossed it around the other side of the street.
I know, I went the other way. But I think in Joe Burns' case, I think he's actually got a passport. So some of the players who are playing at any rate have got passports, so they qualify. Actually, the Italian Federation sort of put out a bit of a call to say, do you have
Nicely driven with a great hand from Lion Cachet, and then O'Dowd gets it in the act. Oh, both sides are plus, 25, 30 at least in the field. Excellent again from the Dutch.
So they've actually put out a call. I had a chat with the head of the federation there, and they've actually set their side. So during the women's qualifiers that I was at last week in Rome, the Mooney, so take another single Coney, which is the KONI, which is the basically the Italian Olympic Federation. They were hugely part of it. They had like a school six-a-side tournament running alongside the women's qualifiers, and they had funding because of the Olympics inclusion at LA28. They formed a partnership. Coney was really interested in cricket. So they're really helping with some pathway programs initially. And the head of the Italian Federation, so this is where they're trying to find the new generation of cricket fans coming through, really develop the local talent. They have set 2032 Olympics as their target, Italy. So they are aiming high and very, very seriously. So they've got...
They want to qualify for the 2032 Olympics.
Yeah. They've got
6 in the 16 tournament.
Yeah. I know. Believe me, they are ambitious. And they've got, so Joe Burns is playing for them. They've got the Menenti brothers in Australia as
Is it the
well.
men's game or the women's game? Or both?
I think in the men's game. I know. But they're aiming high. They are aiming high.
We'll get back to how Joe Burns is eligible for Italy.
Okay, just do that.
So that's due to his maternal side. He's got both of his grandparents are from Calabria, Italy, and he's got does have an Italian passport. The reason he can go and play for them, going from a full member down to an associate, is having served the 3-year statutory period in between international appearances. So his last test match was back in 2020 for Australia. He played a handful of ODIs as well for Australia. He'd actually never played a T20I, and therefore in 2024, when he had qualified, he was enabled to play as an Italian player. As we were saying a keeper change for a moment, we're seeing a
Oh, Lenny, I'm so cold.
It's been a long day.
It's been a long day.
Halfway through the chase, Nepal 96 for 3. I need 130 more. Rula van der Merwe comes into the attack for his first appearance. Well, I guess this isn't, I'm not putting in the spot, this is more of a fun guess. Boy. Might be able to make a few brownie points back with viewers and the listeners if they can hear us through the wind. Nigeria, many cricketers have played for 2 countries.
How many cricketers
In history.
in history? That is a guess.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
Wasn't he? That's not Jake is really battling out there, just trying to retain on it. 7 Ireland was on 2 minutes left.
Gonna say 33.
Was this one missing? And a bag. They're probably outside the line of stuff. Floods into Nepal again, and the river always interested. There is also 9 women who have done it, so it's over 60 altogether.
I will tell you, I'm not going to tell you who, I'm going to take a leaf out of the old book as we finished the 26th over. With Nepal 99 for 3, that target of 226 still on the way. After a player from another country saw some of the coverage and our photos out of Rome, I did get a message from them saying, I am very happy. This is a player from a full member nation. Can you let the federations know I am well and truly available? I will come and play for them. So there might be a few players out there checking their passports, their eligibility. Understand why they do it, as long as there's still development of local talent in those countries.
Edged away, guided away maybe, fair description. The 100's going to come up, there's ripples of applause as the Nepal fans see the scoreboard take over to bring the 100. Good 4th wicket partnership, bringing back some control for Nepal, but the required run rate continues. Escalade is Paul Van Baker and comes back in for his second spell. These are going to be critical overs.
Yeah, this is a really key juncture here. Van Baker taking a wicket with just his second ball, that extra
Obviously, that would be at least one, otherwise the question wouldn't be getting asked.
Well, there was a player in the 2010
Playing a miss.
2010 Under-19s World Cup, Andrew Berenger, played for Sri Lanka
He's told me this before.
and then played for the UAE in ODIs and then Qatar in the T20s.
Yeah.
And then,
It's not technically with 3 countries, it's not 3 senior appearances.
yeah, it's not 3 senior appearances, so. Oh, Bertus. Bertus, we wish you were here. You could keep us both warm with your
Trying it. 27 balls, 1 of 6 for 3. Van der Merwe into his spell now, and you'd imagine he's going to be desperate to impact the game. Keep your eyes on Van der Merwe if he does get a wicket. The celebrations, they haven't subdued at all.
I love it. He's such a character. Think about playing around, we've been around the traps in the county game in England. Yeah, he's just one of the great entertainers, isn't he? So there's a few in the Dutch side that are particularly entertaining.
Burgess, of course, does correct me that the list that I read out there is only an officially sanctioned or statused games, which makes the list a very recent one. Someone like Dermot Reeve, who played for Hong Kong back in the day when they would have played in the state cricket, he's not in that list.
Oh, I know we've got you out there to keep us honest, Bertus.
America, just twirl away your own team. The head goes to the sweep, but there's protection out there. Should just be the signal. Sherry Zaman is the fine fielder. Do have a really good question. Might need to answer it in between the overs because it's a tiny bit complicated because of the addition of Netherlands to this ICC Men's Cricket World Cup League 2, but it's a really good question because last time there was 7 teams in this league and there was 36 ODIs. This time there is 8 teams in this league and there's still 36 ODIs. So it's Romeo Cricket who's asking me a bit of extra pence from very animated in his follow through. He says that there are 36 matches each. How does that work? Last time it was 7 teams, so it was 36. Each team played each other 6 times. The 7 teams played each other 6 times each, which is correct. So there's now a slight disparity to it, and they've had to kind of be a bit innovative in terms of how they have done it. So now they're playing some of the teams 6 times and then other teams 4 times. So it doesn't have that kind of complete round, extuplet round. I want to do a better description in the schedule to it. 28 ball, 108 for 3. So in essence, the way it works is everyone misses one opponent at home, everyone misses one opponent away, and everyone misses one neutral opponent. Now that might not make complete sense, but what that means is you'll play 4 of your opponents 6 times, and you'll play 3 of your opponents 4 times, and then that adds up to the 24 games, plus the 12 that will make up the 36 in total. So it does also mean that you will play everyone in the league at least 4 times, but it does mean that there will be one country you don't tour, if that makes sense. So they kind of had to skirt it together. I think the alternative was to play everybody 6 times, would have led to a 42 match league, and it was just too difficult to squeeze that into the sort of 2 years, 2 and 3/4 year schedule. So that's actually Burgess who's been kind enough to give me the list. So Canada don't host UAE, so at no point will the UAE travel to Canada. Namibia don't host Nepal, so Nepal won't head back down to Windhoek where they've had so much history. Nepal don't host Canada. Well, Canada were there for bilateral series last year. Then the Netherlands, they don't host Oman. Oman don't host Scotland. Scotland don't host the USA. UAE don't host Namibia and USA don't host Netherlands. It doesn't mean that the USA don't play Netherlands. They play them 4 times, but they just won't host them. So repeat that once more. It means everyone misses one opponent at home, one opponent away, and one neutral opponent. So yeah, I think that's a really good description, a great question as well. I think someone would see 42 games in the calendar, but there's obviously budget restrictions and budget implications as well. And we had to get Netherlands into this league, because with the demise of the Super League, you couldn't leave them without any cricket. Oh, go stop. I wonder if we will see the return of that at some point. So tight all over from the tall fast ball of Mikron. Van Meekeren's second spell hasn't quite had the impact that it did throughout the home tri-series. He was now a slip catcher coming into play and won a backward throw quite tight in. Goes at a catching height through the covers, but it'll race for 4. Hits it on the up, a brave shot from Arif Sheikh, who's starting to play a few strokes. Well, it was a brave stroke, but I'm not sure that Meekeren will mind seeing that, because we did have those fielders in catching positions on the offside. He was well placed, but maybe you might feel that he is in with the shot if he can tempt him into playing outside the off stump. Nepal's just building really nicely at the moment. More runs on the leg side this time. It's another 2 to the total. Yeah, they're just staying in touch with this without sort of dropping the hammer and going hard at the chase. They've just been chipping away, and it's keeping them in touch. They're more than halfway to the target at the moment. They're not doing anything overly quickly, but they're doing it without any further losses, and that's the most important part of it. You talk about that doubling your score from 30 ratio, and as to how accurate that is in the first innings, if Nepal can double their score from where they are now, they'd win this game. We're not even at the 30 over marker yet. They just need to keep those wickets in hand. The great thing for Nepal, there's plenty of power to come to, and that's important. Gulshan Jack can go through the gears, Karen KC, all that big hitting power all the way down at number 9. Certainly an asset too, and Depender Singh Hari, well, he's no slouch either, in next at number 6. Whoa! Did that? I almost thought that ball had come off the bottom of the bat, or the face of the bat as he pulled it up. Another look here. It did. They actually did play that into the ground. The lesser known leave. They're lucky to get away with it. Yes, chop onto the stumps required run rate. Still hovers just over 5 runs per over. That won't be a concern yet. It hasn't changed too much in this last period. Definitely the best part of the day so far, and windy, even relenting, maybe a touch, it's still pretty strong. As the bright sunshine. These Forfeiture CC grounds. Gonna take on the single. I'd like to see slightly more attacking nature for Van der Merwe. He's bowling to a pretty defensive field here. Well, he is, but look at these figures. It's number 4. He's 3rd over. I don't mind it. I think the thinking would normally be if you've got Van Meekeren coming in from the other end and you've got someone keeping it super tight. And at the end, the nursery road in where whoever's bowling from, he still managed to strike the pads a few times. So
I almost don't think it's just the field that's his attacking option. Oh, then put down, dropped. A regular first slip fielder, Noah Kroos has the gloves on. It wasn't an easy chance by any stretch for Zach Lyon Cachet, but Van der Merwe is furious. It went quite quickly. Just as I said he needed to attack more, the slip came in, it went straight to him. Well, there is that attacking option. Let's see if we can bring in the replay. Zach Lyon Cachet is hanging his head. Is this the right ball? It is, yeah. Oh, it should have been taken regulation. And look at Van der Merwe. Furious, fuming. Really easy chances. They come at slip. Most slip catches aren't too easy, but that, being honest, should have been taken. Well, we said that they were going to have to match Nepal in the field, the Netherlands, and that, I think, is the first real drop of the entire match. How important will that be? To Merriman here. He's also fitting fiery follow through. Does well not to release that great over, though, just the one run from it. Arif Sheikh has a life. He should have been taken on 25, but instead it goes down. 30 have been bowled, 115 for 3. Reef Sheikh put down in the previous over. And by Zach Lyon Cachet. Big moment in the game, you sense. Will help but loader it up, and the Merrick Kenny gives nothing but 110% commitment. His pedal drives this one very fluently. It's going to get 4. The man out on the fence is a deep backward point rather than a deep cover. And second time in 2 overs, and Maker driven through the covers. Good looking stroke, this one. Just takes a width, but gets confidently onto the front foot. Right on top of any bounce. And drives it away for 4. Yes was the call initially, then no, the throw comes in. Great piece of attempted backing up, but it's going to race to the rope. Kyle Klein. But he did all the hard work. The end result is going to be 4 runs. In fact, it's Zach Lyon Cachet. A couple of flash points. Was Klein attempting to back it up? It was Lyon Cachet with the throw. Not sure whether he needed to throw it or not. Threw it in a bit of fury. And it's back-to-back boundaries. The Dutch are all of a sudden looking in trouble. Costly is that drop chance going to be? Here it is. Lyon Cachet with the fielding. Probably pretty frustrated having dropped the chance, and then Klein did so well at mid-on, but it just burst off his body. Run out, gone! Oh, brilliant! It's Kyle Klein, who's just changed the game on its head. Hendel said yes, then Sheikh said no. The Dutch who've been probing away, threatening in the field, have the big wicket. Nepal's captain, who wanted the single. Arif Sheikh sat on his bat somewhat. There probably wasn't one in it, but what a throw from Kyle Klein. Oh, marvellous work. And the Dutch, just as they were looking like they were going to be extinguished out of this game, have the big wicket that they needed. They dropped a catch in the previous over, but created another chance just through the brilliance of their fielding. Bitterly disappointed is Powdell. They could have had Sheikh and Powdell both gone in the space of 2 overs. But the Dutch come roaring back into the contest. Powdell departs for 23. 123 for 4. See if we can bring you a replay of this outstanding piece of fielding from Kyle Klein. Just watch Arif Sheikh here as well. Powdell really wanted it. Then it's the mix-up and the slip from Powdell. Unbelievable throw, and Pedal's caught miles short. Probably wasn't one in it. Brilliant from Clyde, and get us to the second drinks break. Don't go anywhere too far. We'll have a 5-minute break here in the commentary box. It's 1:23 for 4.
No me choro है क्या इसके तो no बस तो यार बल्ला फॉर्म में से को मान से यार हमको आगे दिपेंद्र से गुलशन से लॉय में होते थे यार शिट चलो कम लाइक कर दो सो लाइक कर देने वाला साथ साथ इस चैनल सब्सक्राइब कर देने वाला ये सब और मैं सबको तो नहीं है सब इनसे सब वाला स्वागत छ र आजको म्याच नेपालले फिक्स दिन्छ 100% जित्छ अझैसम्म हुन्छ 20 ओभर बचेको छ र पावर हिटरहरूको कमी छैन करण केसी सम्पल कामी दिपेन्द्र सिंह गुलशन जाई चारैजना पावर हिटर छन् जुन जसले चाहिँ म्याच अगाडि बढाउँछ रन दिन्छ अगाडिका त हाम्रो खेलाडीहरूले त इनिङ बिल्ड गरे एकसँग गरे अब त अझै छ गाइस दिपेन्द्र सिंह इन द क्रिज हाम्रो त 29 बलमा 23 रन हामीले त 1 रन लिएको भएर त्यहाँबाट चिप्लेर भएर लास्ट चिप्लेर मात्रै के भएर छ रन रेट राम्रो बनायो भने त्यही पक्का रन रेट राम्रो बनायो भने सबैलाई लाइक गरिदिनु होला 100 लाइकको टार्गेट छ 100 लाइक्स for Nepal.
The players have had their refreshments. Usually someone slips something warm in their drinks. Too bitterly cold here. Bruce Hill. But that run out now, is that the thing that's required to just spark a very, very important period in this match? Well, Van Makeren runs in from the pavilion end. They've just nudged the door ajar at the moment of the Netherlands.
The reality is, there's a bit of pressure on Defender Singh too. Recently named as vice captain. Just doesn't have the numbers that he would like. And he'll be acutely aware of that. He's going to have to try and find a way. Doesn't need to play his natural power game that we see him play in the T20 format. But he'd love to get a score here. He'd love to be not out at the end. The problem is, tall, fiery, fired up Paul Van Makeren, and even more fired up Rua van der Merwe at the other end. Probably two of the toughest bowlers to play in the associate game. This game, I think it's going all the way. You might think that Nepal still have it under control, but even if they get there, they're going to raise the heart rate, raise the blood pressure. Their fans across the world.
Yeah, they've stayed very much in touching distance of that run rate required. And again, we've seen Van Makeren pull up a couple of times, and we saw Gigma do the same. And
This time is the bounce.
This time is the bounce. Yeah, but it's still the wind. Still the wind. We've seen them pull up because the heavy bales have been blown off. We've seen them pull up just because I think a strong gust of wind has just come across and just put them off their run up a little bit, almost blown them off their run up.
Beauty. Real beauty. Van Makeren putting his body on the line. very nearly. We had the score of 1, 2, 3, or 5. Instead, it's 123 for 4 as defender Singari survives.
Tell you what, he's a big man. It'd have to be a very strong gust of wind to blow Van Meekeren off his run up. Just try and wrap a blanket around my legs.
Maybe you're shivering on it. Well, maybe let's start to feel some positivity and some warmth.
We are.
Somehow.
Yeah, nah, it's good. Certainly the match, I feel like it's going to start to warm us up again. Our run rate has been actually going up. It's almost 4 and over now.
Cut away with good aplomb. Should be at least a couple. The humbling Tejan Idamaru does well.
And he did really well in the end. Made it look graceful as well.
There's been a change in the slip fielder as well. Zach Cachet has been rather, well, unceremoniously whipped out of there, and in goes Vikram Singh, who's probably a more natural slip fielder. Usually be Noah Kroos, but Kroos has got to take the gloves because Scott Edwards is off with a hamstring injury. We don't know how bad it is yet. All we do know is that he won't be appearing again today. It means that Max O'Dowd is captaining for the Dutch. Netherlands will hope, given that they've got to take on Scotland in 2 days' time, that Max O'Dowd doesn't have to captain in 2 days' time. The last thing they want is to lose the batting services of their skipper, Scotty Edwards. Played a lot of cricket over the last couple of weeks in the Pro Series games. They played 3 top-class Avengers games on Thursday and Saturday last week. He's in good form too for the league leaders in the Premier Dutch Club competition, SV Kampong, as he made a century against the VRA. Tyree just looks a bit nervous, doesn't he? A bit fidgety. It's such a different game, isn't it? T20I cricket to ODI cricket. T20I cricket just comes out and blasts it from ball 1, really. Can't really do that in whatever stage of an ODI you're at, unless you're in the last 5 overs. Gets a sweep out to get off the mark. That'll give him some relief, but he does look nervous out there.
It's one of the things that players will say when they've been playing a lot of T20 cricket, and they suddenly then find themselves playing in the 50 over format. You forget how much time you have, even though you know it intellectually. It's still difficult to get used to. That's the end of another over. 4 runs coming from that. That's the same amount that Van der Merwe had conceded in his first 3 overs, but still, 1 for 8 should have been 1 for 8.
Netherlands just being brought to voice a little bit by that entry from Irie. What will the instructions have been, do you think, from Stuart Law to Irie and to the lower middle order as to how to approach this chase? Is it a case of just take the game deep, continue to assess, or do they want to counter-attack at some point?
I think it's just keeping touch with those runs required. Because at the moment they are still there and they've only lost 4 wickets. Knowing that they've got that firepower as they'll just settle for the single. Suspect that they've got 2 really tight bowlers here at the moment. So the idea that Van der Merwe's still got 5 overs after this one.
Another thing to consider, what I'm mainly saying is because the ground staff know the local conditions and the weather better than us. They just moved the advertising hoardings to allow access to the covers. I don't think it's going to be a long shower, but you can almost physically see the rain over here well across the far side of the ground. Back live here now, pulled into the deep as Klein does well to keep it to just a single. So, where are Nepal with regards to Duckworth, Lewis, Stern? Your quiz question, are they ahead or behind?
4 down. Oh, why are you doing this to me?
It's easy, it's a 50-50.
It is a
They're tied unless they're the
thousands to be on the right side of the 50, not the wrong side.
You don't have much credit in the bank right now. You've got to make
None. Exactly.
34 Baldwin, 34 for 4. So at the end of the 34th, what did the
End of the
need to be? 4 being 4 down. Are they ahead or are they behind? It's an easy question.
Okay, I think they're behind.
It's close. I'll give you that as a clue. It's close.
So I placed it wrong.
No, that's it.
I don't think they're right.
So at the end of the 34th over, what total do they need to be at to be ahead of Duckworth?
Okay, I think they need to be 138.
You're close. Oh. They need to be 133. They're ahead.
Oh, wow.
Okay, that's how close this game is. It's neck and neck. It really is. It really is neck and neck. I don't think that little share we might get is going to be completely fatal.
No.
But I do think that it could take us off for a little bit. I think we probably have about 10 minutes spare time. We lost about 20 minutes in the game and there's 30 minutes grace.
The temperature has just dropped as well, notably just in the last couple of minutes.
Michael Levitt returns to the attack. I know for a fact that the standing captain will have a DLS sheet. Good run in from Arif Sheikh. We'll get back for 2. It's a long pocket and corner of the ground up there. Levitt doesn't like it, but does get home. Yeah, it's about a run of ball required, just slightly under. 6 wickets in hand. It's kind of an old-fashioned coin toss. I don't think that I've never seen a player like that. We can actually see the rain. We do get that share. I don't think it's going to take us off entirely, but you still want to make sure you're ahead of it if you can be.
You always do, don't you, whenever there's any break of play, just because you never know. It's interesting, a change of ends for Levitt as well, who have bowled a terrific spell earlier, taking a couple of wickets.
Well, wickets change things massively.
They do.
If they were to lose a wicket, Nepal would go behind on DLS. You're just ahead at the moment. The reason, I suppose, I think if you don't know your associate cricketer, particularly if you don't know your Nepalese cricket or Nepali cricket, you should still be thinking you want to be in the batting side's position, but it's just the pressure cooker of the situation, how well the Netherlands bowl and field, and how fragile historically, not maybe in this new Stuart Law era, but historically how fragile Nepal have been at chasing down totals. That's what I genuinely think it's still a coin toss. I think it's a 50-50 on either side in such a dominant position that they should win. maybe Nepal will feel as though they've played the better cricket thus far today, and they obviously want to win. This goes out towards us, going to go all the way to the rope. Arif Sheikh, well, he was put down, wasn't he, by Zach Lyon Cachet. Shocking misfield in the deep by Naveen, our coordinator. Wouldn't see him do that in his club cricket, but he's given it away, and that races for 4.
Yeah, it's given it a life. And he's holding this innings together. That was a lovely lofted drive off the pose as well. And let's not talk too much about the misfield in the team.
Beauty beats the outside edge. End of the 35th, 15 to go. Nepal, they're inching closer, 40 for 4.
It's the thing that will make Nepal feel that they are in the better position, notwithstanding the rain, which might actually just be skirting us, by the way, because that cloud we were looking at, because of the wind today, it's moved a huge amount across the ground already. A long way. You can actually see the rain moving laterally across the sky in front of us. Because they've got Ocean still to come in, because they've still got Peter and Casey, they'll feel like they have the firepower to up the run rate.
Roland Gulshan Jah probably more so Jah than KC. Jah with the overs of Van der Merwe remaining. Gulshan Jah loves left arm spin. At the moment, they'll just kind of pat it back him, and they hold 5.2 overs for 11.
Yeah,
32 deliveries for 11 runs.
and he could have had a wicket in there as well. In a way, you almost feel it would be unjust if he didn't take at least one wicket today, because I think the way he's bowled, he deserves it.
Is some rain. Getting not heavy rain, but spits of rain. Ground staff aren't panicking, so maybe it is just gonna go around us. And what's now coming in on our commentary position. I'm just trying to escape into our commentary position a touch. Apologies.
Just a lot of water insufficient equipment around us.
Challenging day.
I'm just looking up there at our camera crew as well.
Our heroes up there.
Boy, oh boy.
Great work. Boys from the Czech Republic. Czech, yeah. So they're known as well. Yeah, they get the gantry that they're up for. The reason, I know we've got lots of messages about the coverage, the reason that we haven't been able to bring you the behind the bowler's arm view today, it was deemed unsafe by the safety check that goes ahead of any game that we broadcast, and understandably with it, I think
bowled his first spell from the nursery road end.
This is the problem with sticking to 5 bowlers, particularly when one of them's a part-timer. You get a 6th bowler and you have that bit of flexibility. I haven't gone to Zach Lyon Cachet because you haven't seen the left-hander out there yet. And he hasn't got to Vikramjeet Singh. Maybe these conditions today might have been a better option. Wrists from Irie works that down for a single. The predominantly Nepalese crowd, there is 2 Dutch fans here, see over the far side, has been kept a bit subdued, but with 150 now coming up, they're starting to find their voice.
I can barely feel my lips, so I'm amazed that they've been able to actually chant out there. I've done it hard in these conditions as well.
Gonna run a single, oh now a good throw, and even though Irie is as fast as lightning, he could have been in trouble. Took on the fielder after the fumble and gets home, but the throw was well wide of the stumps.
11 runs off that Michael Lever over. A real release in pressure there. Has brought up that second but one single, 150. See there, throw nowhere near the stumps again. 151 for 437. But look at that equation, 75 needed from 78. And with 6 wickets in hand, you think that at the moment, Nepal, this game just more in their control. But Vandermeer is back.
Question about the fans. It's coming to me. He says, why are the Nepali fans so calm in and around the field today? The reason is it is unbelievably cold and very hostile, blustery and windy conditions out there. Many of them have taken shelter in the drinks marquee over the far side. They're hardy souls, those. There's also less of them today because there's a significant group always coming on the Monday. I think we'll get a good crowd again on Sunday as Scotland will take on Nepal that day. Very, very much a fan favourite. They're starting to get behind. They have a question as well from Sherry Payal says that Nepal could not win a single match in the series. But Nepal won the first game and they're putting on an amazing display in this game too. What do we have to say about the performance now? Stuart Law and his Australian winning mentality affect this team. Well, no world's better place to speak of it than Australian winning mentality that I have.
Just sometimes what I know is that a bit of a myth that's like Australia knows how to win World Cups.
How can that be a myth? You're literally won more World Cups than any country by a mile.
But sometimes it's so I have a theory about that that's not necessarily that they know how to do it. It's that there's if you have an intergenerational trauma, so take another single. Yeah, I think you can have intergenerational confidence, and I often think with Australia, it's not that they have this magical formula that means they go into a World Cup with plans that nobody else has thought of, that means they just know how to do it. It's a confidence factor by seeing previous generations do it. And I've asked some of the Australian players about it. Spanked away. Just going to be the single though. And some of the Australian players have said to me, well, it just doesn't seem something that's foreign. We look at teams that have come and done it before. So we think, well, they've done it, so obviously we can.
They were nowhere in the first 3 World Cups.
Yeah, but it's just one of those things that then I'm talking about the current lot now. So all I'm saying is
You're saying it was Alan Border and Steve Waugh.
yeah, they started this thing, and other teams, I'm talking about the current generation.
They not have a winning mentality.
Yeah, they do have a winning mentality, but it's not that, it's just different when people say they know how to win World Cups as if they've got some magic formula. There's a confidence that just comes from watching previous generations. So all anyone has to do is do it once, and then that can breed the same success. Stop it, Letty.
Well, overs remain. 155 for 4. The score. Michael Levitt's hit a ball. His 10th and final. Backs it down once to get his 5th baller out of the way, it feels like, and wrapped up. Interesting call this to get him done. He's bowled well. He's picked up 2 wickets for the first time in international cricket. As Nepal, they just need to keep knocking it around. They need almost exactly a run a ball.
But there certainly always is an expectation. I think that comes down to fans as well.
And
It's
it
just
like
big
like
difference
when
between
like
fans from Australia and fans from other countries.
good one, good
Oh,
one.
beauty. Now, how is this missed? It somehow is missed on height. Unbelievable delivery. But I think, again, a bit like the one the ball Kushal Bertel is nipped back in off the seam. It's only missed on height, nothing else. With his cut shaken hand, somehow goes over off stump.
Oh dear. He's got a couple today to nip back in beautifully. Stop that seam. Oh, can you produce another magic ball? That's driven nicely.
We're just receiving some tragic news. In from India. It should be a joyous day for RCB fans. 11 people have died. Al Farrell. It was supposed to be a victory parade at Chinnaswamy Stadium. There's been a chain of events that's led to a tragedy and stampede-like conditions in and around the Chinnaswamy, so all of our thoughts just only hearing about that now. And with the capacity of the stadium only being 35,000, I don't think anyone expected the millions that turned up. And let's hope that some of those who have been injured as well can recover quickly. This one's cut away for a single. Terrible to hear that after such emotion, elation and joy for RCB's first IPL. He saw Virat Kohli, the icon of the game that he is, speak so evocatively about his journey to win a first IPL and the continued importance of the test game. Tragic to hear that. Shocking.
It is absolutely shocking.
Never want to hear of anything like that in sport. Good over from Michael Levitt, good spell too. 39 had been bowled, 158 for 4. The score puts things into perspective a touch as well, just to get that we're watching here today. Let's hope that for those fans watching on from India, fan code, they can enjoy the rest of this match and see whichever way it goes.
victory.
There's always a twist, always a turn in this league, particularly if Nepal are involved.
It keeps us on our toes.
You would think Nepal are favourites right now, no doubt about that, but for sure.
In conventional circumstances, a team in this position, absolutely, they would be favourites. But you just never know. I just pause because actually our marquee's just lifted up a little bit around us. The end of their spells
I don't know, like,
and
something
made the
like
most of
that,
the loose deliveries.
यो बलिङ एक रनको
It
छ
continues to buffet even our cameras at a lower level.
के गरेको त्यसले पक्रिने पक्रिने खालको
I remember a windier game of cricket the other day. The 200's over for Nepal. 44 being bowled. It is
खुट्टा पक्रिन्छ
200 for 4. If Nepal can apply the finishing touches here, Mel, and this points
जित्छ
table,
भने
which we're
पनि
going to look at
अहिले
now,
6 ओभर पनि लाग्दैन अब
sees
थाल्छ नि त्यसले नेपाल बढेर नामी उयो
Nepal up
माथि
to 10 points, get up to double digits.
भनेपछि
They're within 2 wins, and they may be out with 6 games in hand. They're going to maybe be able to get themselves out of those kind of bogey positions of 7 or 8 and start to dream again of a top 4 spot.
Absolutely, and I think that they'll be looking at Scotland and Canada where they are. Scotland still do have 3 games in hand as well from the other teams that are around them. But I just think Nepal go vertical. They're going vertical. The Sydney Sixers women used that as a mantra several years back when they were at the bottom of the table, and they ended up having this incredible run. It was Sixers go vertical. Maybe we need to adopt that for Nepal. Because for me, looking at that table, there's only one way that Nepal are going.
So it's going vertical down under.
Not having a shocker today to feel me.
26 to win, 6 overs to do it. Klein in his final over. He has barely been kept wicketless his entire career. But right now it's looking very much like it's going to be the case. Hasn't bowled badly at all. He's been very economical. Nepal have found a way to nullify his threat.
The problem is that because they only put a modest total on the board, there's been no choice but to be economical, and that hasn't been enough. They had to be both economical and take wickets in order to have a chance in this match.
Nearly gets his first. Nearly walk him into one.
अलिकतिले छक्का जान्दैन सक्दा हामी सेवा डबल खेल्दा हुन्छ लाइक गरिदिनु 100 लाइक त
It's a very different innings to say what we saw from Karen Casey the other day, but in its own way it's been as impressive from Sheikh. Just because of the way he's steered this innings, he's paced it perfectly, hasn't taken the risk. He took his time.
And he's accelerated, isn't he? Yeah, strokes like that. Will be 4 more. He's guiding Nepal home. This result is looking like it's only going to go one way. And the Nepal fans, lesser in number than 2 days ago. They're not any less loud right now.
Yeah, just seeing there from Sheikh that more aggression coming in, but he's earned the right to be aggressive, and he played that in. I almost thought that ball came back in a touch, but hit the spot perfectly. Great placement, great timing, great shot.
रिन त परिहाल्छ नि 3 वर्ष बिस्तारै बिस्तारै अब अलिअलि त रिन रिन छ केही छैन 100 लाख चाहिँ पुऱ्याइदिनु तपाईँहरूले अरू के सिकियोस् राम्रो जितेर नेपाल
Going away behind square, it's going to race to the longest part of the ground, but not quite get to the rope. Dipender Singh Hari says, I love 3. Thank you very much. After 3 there. Sheikh doing slightly heavier breaths in his running. Kyle Klein, much like much of this Dutch performance, has just looked not quite at their usual best. And a tall task in 2 days' time. Remember, they were beaten pretty roundly by Scotland in their last game on home soil. He's staring down the barrel of 3 consecutive defeats unless they turn things around pretty quickly. And you got to remember, this is the side that qualified for the 50 Over World Cup 2 years ago. Those dramatic circumstances down in Zimbabwe. Of course, they're missing some players. We all know they are, but just a few ominous scenes here for the men in oranges. Kyle Klein will be wicketless for the first time in 11 internationals. He'll end up with none for 39. Respectable figures, but no wickets next to his name. And with 5 overs remaining, it's just 18 runs required to win Nepal.
Yeah. The thing is, I think this is such a great combination of teams to have in this round. Nepal, Scotland, Netherlands. It also wouldn't surprise me to see Netherlands come around and beat Scotland. And then you have Scotland beating Nepal. This is one of those rounds, right? You can just see these teams each beating up on each other on their own day. Really competitive. And we'll have it all for you on ICC TV as well. So make sure you stay with us over the next week and a half, because there's three such good sides that are taking to the field here at Foothill.
So sticking at the 5 bowlers is Max O'Dowd. The temptation to, they have a lot to lose, maybe tossing the ball to a Zach Lyon cachet, sticking everyone out on the rope and seeing if you can play to the ego of an Irie or a Shake and get one caught in the deep. Do you think it's a weakness of the Dutch side with this strategy they've persisted with, which is 7 outs and 8 batters, meaning that your 5th bowler has to come from the part-timers? So today it was Michael Evans bowled pretty well. He used Zach Lyon cachet a lot in May. Don't really understand why Ariane Dutt is not in the 11. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me, however many left-handers are in the opposition side.
Yeah, it's a funny one, because then also, as you talked before about the soft underbelly Pats in the middle to lower order.
Well, I think that's why they're going with 7 batters.
That's
Try
right.
ninth in the batting line.
Yeah, that's what they're trying to do. And they put up a total today that you would say was under par. Go back to that decision at the toss to bat first.
It's a misread. I'm sorry, we may not speak to Scotty Edwards after this game. I think Max O'Dowd will come and chat to us, because Edwards will want to rest his leg, but for me it's a misread. It's that simple. Conditions have not got any more difficult to bat. If anything, they've improved and got a bit easier. And with the challenge of the weather that we've played in today, I just cannot understand why you'd want to bat first.
But if you felt, even in that game 2 days ago, that maybe conditions eased a little bit for batting as well. And that's taking nothing away from Nepal batting second and the way that they chased. But
I think the hybrid pitches tend to stay pretty consistent, so any assistance you're going to get is early. Yeah, and that's what we saw. Karen Casey getting a lovely full delivery through Max O'Dowd and a massive one in the game. Yeah, I think it's a misread. They always have a lot of belief in their ability. They will get a couple and maybe a couple more. I think Irie's going to get 3 here, as the pressure tells on Michael Levitt. The Dutch, well, they've just been run ragged. They're going to be going down to a defeat here. Being frank, defeat that outside of maybe one wobble when Rowan Powell was run out, kind of almost looked like it was under control for Nepal. We're over 100 overs.
it's been a completely different chase than we saw against Scotland. Go back to Shake and the maturity of his innings, the pacing of it, choosing the moments to attack, choosing when to accumulate. It's just been controlled. Control is the word that I've used. What are you talking about? You're trying to say to me it's never a straightforward chase with Nepal? Mate,
Well, it hasn't been.
I don't believe you. It's only my second game, and it's all been hunky-dory.
Got wickets, double wicket made. Someone scrambled the other pads out of number 8. I don't think the Dutch have actually really shown enough.
No.
And just as we say it, there's going to be a chance. And the catch, a very well held catch in the deep. Excellent. And Mel Farrell, maybe, just maybe, you'll learn never to say too many things. Vivian Kingma has his first for the day in Arif Shake. Finally falls, he's gone for 78. The tactic of banging it into the surface has worked. It's probably going to be too little, too late. But Vivian Kingma does have the breakthrough.
He shuffled a long way across, and that ball was wide outside the off stump. But just the uppercut, the danger of going so high in the air as that swirling wind. A really good take in the end. Well controlled roll.
Yeah, Tasia Minaminoria with the excellent grab in the deep, did everything right to somehow get underneath it. Fantastic knock from Arif Shake. He's surely done enough to see Nepal home. He's gone for 78. As Nepal lose their 5th. Nepal fans will be thinking is, please don't give us a double wicket maiden to follow. Otherwise, the same Andrew Leonard will be saying to Mel Farrell, I told you so. Never such a thing as a simple chase. For Nepal, they do only need 14. They should get over the line here. Credit to the Dutch, they do always keep scrapping. I think that the likely bowling change we'll see after this is surely Paul van Meekeren's going to bowl the next over and just try and blast a couple out.
Yeah, just 14 more required from 25 deliveries. I do have 5 wickets in hand. 5 wickets in hand. Still trying to get my lips to work properly.
He was going to come round the wicket. Gulshan Jada comes in at number 7. Finished his over. 46 have been bowled, 212 for 5 the score. If you look at the batting card here, Mel, you'll see that it was Arif Sheikh, the top scorer of the day, but Depender Singh Ari, particularly if he could end not out, with a clinical and critical innings from him.
Absolutely, and undoubtedly great for his confidence as well. It'd be wonderful for him if he could see this chase home and just control it at the end. He was a good support, good foil for Arif Sheikh. But a good innings in its own right as well.
Okay.
Just take it home with Gulshan Jada.
Chirama Chape.
Or can there be a final little worry? Starting with this over from Paul van Meekeren, we thought might be a real factor in this case, particularly when he took a wicket with his second ball. But it just hasn't been that kind of day for the Dutch.
Now, one last opportunity for Paul van Meekeren. He's been a bit expensive today. Probably not at his very best. For him to try and find something to cheer. His final over. That's an appeal, but given as a wide. One as though Depender Singh Ari got something on it. And he still does. Can't believe it's been given as a wide. Where David McLean disagrees. And even Depender Singh Ari says, well, he's got a bit of a guilty look on his face, doesn't he? And I think we're going to see, yes, David McLean works in tandem with the square leg umpire to reverse his decision. That's great umpiring. I love when I see an umpire open to be able to admitting that he's just missing.
I think that is brilliant. And using the square leg umpire as well, making sure the person who's in the best position is
Depender Singh Ari's guilty schoolboy look as well, kind of gave away that he had hit it. Looks like Yorker clipped into the leg side. He wants the second, but Gulshan Jada says no. Taking on Tajan Idamanoru in the deep. That was a good catch hit there.
really good catch, good dive, good roll.
Run ahead, 30 over 24 run, 14 run here.
14 more, 23 balls to do it. Jad tends to score very quickly. His little boundary would just settle the nerves here for the Palafel.
Not someone I imagine who just likes to knock it around to get over the line. Might see a little flourish. She batted well a couple of days ago. Batted brilliantly in that chase.
Starts aggressively immediately, and there is the boundary that Nepal wanted. It'll just about get to the road back today. It'll chase in vain, banged into the pitch, and Jack copes with it wonderfully well.
Well, like we said, he wasn't likely to knock it around to get these remaining runs. Really love watching Garbat. He was outstanding. They're not even going to require Karen Casey, I don't think, at all for the chase, Lenny.
There'll be a few in Nepal that will just ask you to stop making predictions like that. Flurry of wickets. Will follow you. Just confident. You just cursed out you've shaken the previous. So if you're wondering about that umpiring signal you might have seen, basically you cross your arms across your chest and touch the opposite shoulder. That means you revoke the last signal that you made. Therefore the wide is no longer valid. just for those wondering as to how the laws work. A great piece of umpiring in partnership between the two on-10 Scottish umpires. Here's the diving stop from Van der Merwe. Excellent.
Evergreen, isn't he?
To win now, and Irie looks absolutely desperate and destined to be there at the death. He moves to 38. In a fine innings, isn't it? Because he chewed up a lot of pressure at the start. We spoke about that if you walk off not out again, there's no problem doing that. But if you get out, you can put your side in a bind.
I think this innings will do the world of good for him because he was chewing up those balls. But managed to stick around. He looked fidgety and nervy at the start of his innings, but settled in, supportive of Shake out there as well. And the pair of them have done so much to get Nepal home.
Good short ball. All round out. Van Meekeren's over, and Van Meekeren spell not his day, to be honest. 1 for 63, bit of a surprise. Given how well he bowled throughout the trip on home soil to Amsterdam and Utrecht. He gives a pat on the back to umpire David McLean. The highest score that Dipender Singh has made in ODI cricket since all the way back in July 2023 when he made 79 not out in the playoff stage of the Cricket World Cup qualifier. Actually, outside of an 85 earlier in the year against Scotland, he really hasn't. Only the 50 he's made at any point was all the way back in November 2022, so it's been a bit of a lean trot for him. This innings will fill him full of confidence to see the side on as to why that wasn't given as a wide, not over the head height position of Irie. Van der Merwe will bowl 48 and 50 if we need to get there, but Gulshan Jah, I think we know the way he plays, he might try to end this with a maximum hitting up towards those Nepal fans that are gathered over Long On.
We haven't seen anyone really try and attack Van der Merwe.
Haven't needed to really, have they?
No. Oh, he's done a terrific job of keeping it tight as well. Should have had a wicket. He's actually bowled really well at it. Tried to catch it slip.
Does try to end it with a maximum, and he takes on the long off fielder, and what a way to win it. Gulshan Jah, I thought he might take on the left arm spinner, indeed he does, and Nepal have made it 2 from 2. They get there in grand style. It's a comfortable, it's a confident, it's a fabulous 5-wicket victory. An emphatic, marvellous performance. They've beaten the side. It wasn't even in this league the last time around. They were up in the Super League. They've taken on the Scots on home soil. KC was too good for them that day 2 days ago, but today, with that grand winning 6, they finish off and they make it an unbeaten start to Stuart Law's era. Nepal win by 5 wickets.
And showing that they can do it more than one way as well. The first win was a desperate chase that needed an injection of aggression. This time it's been calm, it's been mature, it's been controlled all the way through. They did a brilliant job in restricting Netherlands earlier, giving themselves a fairly modest total to chase down. The way they did it, I think that will make Stuart Law really happy. Just to see that there's more than one way to skin a cat. There's more than one way for Nepal to win a game of cricket.
Credit to the Nepal fans who've abided by the pleas not to come onto the playing surface. And they have stayed. I'm sure the players will go up and greet them and pose for some photos and maybe sign a few autographs if people still collect them too. Our thanks to all of the fans who came along. Our thanks to all of you for watching on along at home. Warm greetings between these two teams. The Dutch have really enjoyed their trips out to Nepal. They played plenty of cricket there in recent times. And credit to everyone, our match officials, all involved at the Portfordshire Cricket Club's grounds here, all the Cricket Scotland crew, the ground staff, everyone today, our production team, because I know it might look beautiful here, but it's been as challenging a day as I can remember for a number of reasons. Our apologies for our restrictions and our limited nature of our coverage today. But we do want to thank you all so much for watching and for staying with us and for being so understanding. We'll leave you with the cards and the news that Nepal have taken this win in really grand style, a comfortable victory. Goshenja won it with a max, but the heroes were really Arif Sheikh and Depender Singari with the bat 38 not out is going to do the world of good for him. For the Dutch, the bowlers, well, not a huge amount to cheer really, but I thought Michael Levitt bowled very well with his career best figures of 2 for 43. Kyle Klein was kept wicketless, which was crucial. And Paul Van Makeren, potentially the surprise today. We thought the conditions would suit him and he'd be fast and fiery. Managed to find a way to nullify his threat. And what you'll see here from the points table is Nepal are starting to bridge that gap, starting to move vertically, as Mel Farrell was referring to earlier. They are up to 14 points all of a sudden. Up to 10 points. All of a sudden they're coming into view of Namibia's total of 14 points. They could even equal them if they can stay unbeaten here on this tour of Scotland. And the Dutch, who've now played more games than anyone, well, maybe just looking at those beneath them going, God, we need to beat Scotland in 2 days' time. That should be a really good contest, always a good clash between those two teams. Do hang with us. We'll have the post-match presentation in a couple of minutes' time. As Nepal take the win by 5 wickets. For me, Andrew Leonard, for Mel Farrell, for Nav, and for Dom, and for all the crew, I want to thank you for staying with us today. It's been tough, but we got through it. Nepal have taken a 5-wicket win.
Hello साथीहरू जुन सबै क्रिकेट फुटबलको म्याचहरूमा जानुहुन्छ भने आफ्नो मोबाइलमा गुगल खोल्नुपर्छ अनि योनो टिभीबाट हेर्नु चाहिँ हाम्रो मेन वेबसाइट भनेको योनो टिभी हो है सबैजना साथीहरूले चाहिँ योनो टिभीबाट हेर्नु है साथीहरू हाम्रो मेन वेबसाइट भनेको योनो टिभी हो त्यसमा चाहिँ फुल एचडी ब्यान्ड छ है त्यसैले ल सबैजना साथीहरूले चाहिँ गुगलमा गएर योनो टिभी भनेर सर्च गर्नुहोस् अनि योनो टिभीबाट हेर्नुहोस् है ल साथीहरू सबैजनाले योनो टिभीबाट हेरौँ है
Captains very quickly. Finally, the player of the match is starting with the captain, standing captain that was for the fielding names of the Netherlands. That's Max O'Dead. Max, firstly, congratulations. I think that's the first time you've captained your country. How did you enjoy it there? Not the result you would have wanted, but not the circumstances you would have wanted either, but a proud day nonetheless. Yeah, of course, very proud. Always a great moment captaining my country. But yeah, obviously the result we didn't want. Talk to me about your captaincy in that innings and how you look to approach it. You only used the 5 bowlers. Did you think about maybe giving someone like Zach Lancashire or Vikramjit Singh a go at a certain point? You kind of got stuck with just those 5. Yeah, it did cross my mind. I mean, we do a lot of analysis work and a lot of work on matchups, and I was going through the notes whilst I was standing there and trying to figure out what the best combination was. And to be honest, I just bet the 5 bowls we had there. Of course, Zach, he could have done a job, Vicky could have done a job, but I think at that time may or may not be the right choice. But yeah, I backed the boys that were there. How difficult were the conditions out there? I can't remember too many windier games anyway that we've seen international played in. Yeah, extremely windy, so tough to hear. But I mean, look, it's nice. The outfields are quick. So we've played in worse conditions for sure, but it was cold and it was windy. What about the total you had on the board? It just meant you're in a position where it was probably never enough runs. Was it 260, 270? You might have made a game of real interest. Yeah, I think so. I think if you look at the way we started with the bat, I think we were a bit too slow to adapt to the conditions. Myself and Mikey probably, we've been able to lay a good platform this whole league, and we weren't able today. But I think it's just the way it goes sometimes. Obviously we were, I think, 30, 40 runs short, and that makes a massive difference in a run chase like that. The final question, Scotland in 2 days' time, after such an amazing run of form through Namibia, most of that home and Camp Fareham against Scotland. I mean, we're a quality side. We've shown it the entire league, so I don't see how much changes. I just think we need to knuckle down on a few execution areas and like I said, just adapt to the conditions. But yeah, going to put some words into your mouth. I hope we don't see you in 2 days' time in terms of interviews as captain. Hope Scotty gets back to full health. Yeah, fingers crossed he'll be fine. Okay, that's Max O'Day, the standing captain. Thanks for him to having a quick chat to us. We'll speak now to the winning captain. That's the captain of Nepal. That is Rohit Kumar Patel. Rohit, congratulations. Fantastic performance. Very different to 2 days ago. That was comprehensive. You were kind of in control of that game from start to finish. Is that fair to say? Yeah, I think it was more playing than the last game. And I think in bowling department we bowled really well from the beginning to the end. And in batting, I think we could have done better a little. We could have finished the game in 40-42 overs, but yeah, in the middle, Levitt bowled really well. So I think, and then after we had a good partnership, and I think we could have done it a little better, but still, if you think of all game, I think it was a better performance. I have to ask you, I want to just ask Max about how tough were the conditions out there? Incredibly cold, very windy. At times it felt as though we were going to get blown away. Yeah, it was very cold, especially even through my ears. So I think it was tough condition, but I suppose we still have to step up. I can't feel my ears, so I'm not going to try and feel yours. What about the batting performance? Special performance that from Arif Sheikh, wasn't it? He's called the Iceman. Maybe these conditions suited him. Yeah, I think he batted really well, especially he observed all the pressure. 2 wickets went in quick succession, especially PM and Kushal got out very quickly, and then after partnership was required, and we did it. And I think after that he has done a lot for Nepal cricket in the last couple of years, I would say, and yeah, he's doing again. The veterans, more experienced players really standing up. How big an achievement is this? 2 games, 2 wins in very difficult conditions away from Nepal against 2 of the best sides in this league. A dream start to this, you're a lawyer. Yeah, you can see that especially both the teams are really tough teams, especially Netherlands and Scotland. And in Scotland condition, it's really tough, but the way we started the series, it gave a lot of confidence to the boys. And now 2 more games left. I will take 1 game at a time. Okay, one final question. You've got 4 days off now. What are the plans? Are you going to see some of the sights of Scotland? Or are you going to make sure the heads stay down and a heavy training schedule? What's coming up? We will rest. One day we'll rest, and then we have few practices. And after the 10th game, we will go around in Scotland and visit a few places. I'll tell you something, you deserve that rest. You've been exceptional for both games. Many congratulations. Thank you so much. That's Rohit Kumar Patel, the captain of Nepal. Delighted time for the player of the match decision by class. Miss Elaine Sim, the president of the Forfarshire Cricket Club, to come up, present my word. Thanks to you and all your team. I don't know how you've kept it all together today. It has not been easy. A couple of special mentions. Scott Edwards batted really well for his 46. Sampal Kami bowled beautifully for his 3 for 48. There was 2 wickets apiece, 2 for Karen Casey, Sandeep Lamachani, and Lala Rajbanshi and Dipender Singh. He played very well for his 38, but he made 78 off 99 deliveries. He had 7 fours and the only 2 sixes of the entire day. The player of the match, it's Arif Sheikh. So Arif will receive his award from Elaine Sim and pose for a couple of photos as well. Gonna stay for a chat with me too now. Thank you, Elaine. Arif, many congratulations. I know you love coming in difficult situations. That was a tricky situation you used to throw to the crease at, and you batted really nicely. How much did you enjoy it there?
Yeah, the wicket was tricky. It's a bit difficult when you didn't play 20 to 30 balls, but when you play 30, 40 balls, it's quite easier, and that's what I was enjoying my batting.
You've played cricket here in Scotland before, so you're used to kind of some of those different, more difficult conditions. But what is it about difficult situations that you like batting?
It was a bit windy. I haven't played in this windy condition, but this was the windy condition, but I was really enjoying.
What about these 2 wins? How much do they mean to you? It's a new era, a new head coach. Yeah, there was a lot of sort of doom and gloom, wasn't there? Some of the talk on social media, well, Nepal lose their ODI status, we're bottom of the table, what's going to happen? But you've really turned it around as early as the first 2 games of Stuart Law's coaching career.
Like everyone knows that we are bottom of the table, and each and every game is very important for us, and we are treating every match as a final, like we did 12 matches and 11 wins. So we are taking each and every game very seriously.
What about your bowling? You always like bowling, don't you? And you certainly had a good impact. Unlucky maybe to be wicketless. You caused a few problems out there.
Yeah, I'm getting unlucky since many days, but let's see in the next match.
Okay, final question, maybe a word for Dipender Singh again. Some have been criticising his form in this format, but that was a really mature innings he played today. What were you discussing with him when you played with him?
Like everyone knows, he's a very good batsman, and what he can do in his day, and that's what we are talking like. It's your day, and you can finish the game today, and that's what he did.
He ended up out there, not out. He finished with 38, but you're the player of the match for your 78. Many congratulations. Lovely chatting to you.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you.
Okay, that's Arif Sheikh, the player of the match today. It's going to wrap up our coverage as well today. We're off to find a very warm drink. I want to thank all of our production crew who held it all together for us today. Really, really difficult conditions. As breezy a day as you can ever imagine. Let's hope for better weather in 2 days' time. But Nepal fans, you will be delighted as the day rounds out back home in Kathmandu. It's 4 points from a potential 4. They'll have a rest day coming up tomorrow, and then in 2 days' time we'll see the Netherlands taking on Scotland. It'll be live and free on ICC TV. From me, Andrew Leonard, from El Farrell, from all the crew. Thanks for watching. We'll see you Friday.
हाम्रो मेन अफसाइडमा जानु होला है साथीहरू जुन चाहिँ क्रिकेट फुटबल म्याच हेर्नलाई आफ्नो मैलाको गोलाको रुममा गएर